Yeah, so this is a fair use from the Act of 1976. Disclaimer, Section 107, under critical and teaching and scholarship and educational purposes, research. I am not making any money off this. This is fair use, fair use. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Kahaloyim Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachaha Kodash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, in the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel, right? Through your father, and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To you sisters, your Chwathiim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yehowadah with the lesson.
Or daughter should die for Israel. No American son or daughter should die for Israel. Flat out. No American son or daughter should die for Israel. Goyim, stand down. Go home. Find the legal means to exit the military, because there are legal means you can exit the military. You can, in fact, conscientiously object to military service. Military men, in case you didn't know, swear an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. I don't really see that happening right now. I don't even see Trump doing that. From his flagrant violations of free speech to freedom of religion, Trump recently firing Carrie Prejean Bowler from the Religious Committee because Zionists didn't like her Catholic perspectives. Can anybody at all meaningfully point out for me, which specific portion of the Constitution our commander-in-chief is currently doing a good job protecting? What is it? What you look around at? What has he done that you would be like, oh yeah, he is the person who is defending our Constitution? Better yet, show me which guaranteed constitutional right you believe that Trump will not violate for Israel. Can you point to one? Because I feel like right now we are all being forced into the servitude of a foreign nation. That seems to be the American reality right now. So I say, by all means, allow the Mark Levins, the Ben Shapiros to sign their offspring up instead. Allow the Christian Zionists, the ones who make videos telling you how devilish it is if you don't support Israel. They believe this is messianic, that Bibi was sent to usher in Armageddon. That's going to bring Jesus back. I urge you, all of you Christian Zionists, sign up for the military today. Please, you guys, stop tweeting. Stop screaming about Tucker Carlson. You have something much more important to do. There's a messianic mission right now. Go to Iran. Go remove the thousands of dead, innocent Palestinian children from beneath the rubble in Gaza so that Trump can build his hotel. I want you guys to be the change that you wish to see in the world. You've got this. Allow the Goyim to stand down, because you guys have the vision. You have the understanding. It's biblical. Go for it. You can do this.
Well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Aggression will overcome moderation. So you have no choice. If you look at the world as it is today, you have to be blind not to see that the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves and to oppose their enemies in time while there's still time, before the jarring gong of danger wakes them up and wakes them up too late. This is where we are now.
What's the fight for Israel? Stand up as a Marine and stand up for America. No one wants to fight for Israel.
We just witnessed a Marine veteran interrupting the hearing, and they broke his arm.
Why did he interrupt the hearing?
Because there is a war in Iran, and our military brothers and sisters are going to die for Israel, and we are here to say no. We do not support Israel. We do not want to die for Israel. Stop the war in Iran right now.
I'll ask the audience to please sit down. Capitol Police will escort any protesters.
Why are you here?
Why are you getting arrested?
Oh my God, they broke his arm.
No one wants to fight for Israel!
Yeah, so this is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 30. Jeremiah 51 verse 30 says, the mighty men, right, dealing with your military, as you can see that that Marine was speaking, no one wants to fight for Israel. They're here to fight for America, fight for the Constitution, fight for the things that's right or meant to be right. See, but this thing is it's never been right. You know what I mean? Because really the Israelis have always ruled over America through Great Britain, right? And then of course Great Britain signed the Balfour Declaration, right, through Lord Balfour, which was a king, a ruler in Great Britain, and which allowed them to help them get that land to perpetrate them to be the people when they never had been the people. But people are starting to wake up to the basically the defilement of the Constitution, right? Because you're supposed to be fighting against tyranny, whether foreign or domestic. But here you are, you have a foreign and domestic tyranny, and there's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could say, right? So now you're in a place where this is Babylon. The mighty men, your military of Babylon, which is America, have forbear to fight. See, and that's what that guy was saying. Hey, we don't want to fight for you guys. If we got to fight for Israel, we don't want to fight for America anymore, right? We don't want to fight for Babylon. They have remained in their holds, right? They're holding back, staying in their homes, their houses, right? They're whatever condition they need to do to get out, or that they need to turn up dirty on their on their drug test, right? These men have forbeared to fight, right? Yeah, right there. It said breaking news: U.S. troops failing drug tests on purpose to dodge Trump's war, right? Because no one wants to go over there and fight for a foreign entity, right? You're supposed to be fighting whether foreign or domestic. If it's coming against the Constitution, which they are, because they're coming after free speech. You can't say nothing against the nickel hats, the small hats, the J-ish, right? You know, the ones who go over there, you know, they fly their blue and white flag, and they be at this wall that they call where you wail at, right? You're supposed to cry, and they're doing a gesture of fellatio. These are the people you have to fight for, right? Meanwhile, you're becoming poorer and poorer, right? And as this war increases, you're gonna have to fund out more money just to do the basic necessities, right? Just to fight. So they have forbore to fight. They have remained in their holds, right? You know, their core beliefs, their belief system. They remain in the hold of their belief system. They remain in their homes, in their own neighborhoods. They're not ready to just get flown out to somewhere to be blown to smithereens for someone who violates the Constitution, who violates but it's just Bible prophecy. It says their might have failed, right? Because if you look at what's happening in Iran, you know, they had this thing, and they thought they were going to be there for 2 days, 3 days, whatever, tops. go in there, tear up some, and then come out victorious. But look, that might, hey, it failed. Now here you are, what is it? I don't know, several weeks into this whole thing. Basically, you ain't coming out. You ain't coming out of that, right? Because Trump ain't gonna, you know, he gonna bow out. Cause because he already looks crazy. You know what I mean? But that fight that you're losing, you got some $20,000 drones tearing up your $4 million Patriot missiles, and your armadas, your vessels, your carriers, right? So they become as women, right? Hey, this thing is scaring scaring these guys, man. It ain't looking too good. They have burned her dwelling places, right? Because they have these certain nations that which this is talking about America, because eventually the ICBM missiles are going to be shot on America, which is her actual dwelling places. But America has these different providence and places where they have their military bases, and Iran has attacked, right? Which is Persia has attacked those military bases, because that would be considered also a dwelling place. And then so a lot of the allies are saying, hey, you got to get out of here, because they're shooting missiles at our homeland. So they're pushing them out. But those also will be considered dwelling places of Babylon, of America. Her bars are broken, right? The protection, right? Your military might, your protection, your homestead, the places where it would have been able to be beneficial, so you could fly, refuel up, come back. Spain has said you can't use their bases. France said you can't use their bases, and then a couple of those other Middle Eastern countries will say, hey, you can't use the bases that you have here, even though it's your bases. Nah, we don't want you to use the base here, because we don't want Iran to shoot missiles upon us. So your bar, like, which that would be like a way of protection. You could go back and rest and build up, and it's a form of protection. But that's broken. Your ally, the people that you have the allyship is broken, right? Says one post shall run to meet another, right? Which would be like a messenger, right? Yeah. Basically, they call it post office, because that's what it was back in the day. You would have a man be on a horse, and he would ride the horse to the other place, which would be what you call a post. A post. Originally, they called him a post officer or post office, right? Which is and one messenger to another, right? And these are the people that set up in the military. I don't know how you say it, but they're set up to advise or counsel Trump, and they're going to tell him what's going on, to show the king of Babylon that the city is taken at one end, showing, hey, you're actually you ain't looking too good. So this is why he's calling for a ceasefire for now, to try to refuel and try to get a grip on what's going on. Try to come back and try to fight better. But then that's going to leave Iran, which is Persia, even in a better condition, because they're ready, right? It says, and that the passages are stopped, right? And what passages are stopped right now? The Strait of Hormuz is stopped, right? It says, and the reeds, they have burned with fire, right? They're talking about burning these oil fields and these different things right now, which just really is going to go into America, they're going to burn America with fire. But just going into what's happening right now, hey, that's actually happening now. These reeds are burned with fire. They're blocking the Strait of Hormuz right now. And it says, and the men of war are affrighted, right? So right now they're blocking the passage of the Strait of Hormuz, and they're attacking them. They're actually winning. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these military guys, they're afraid. because they're not used to losing so badly, right? Especially since this is supposed to be like this was supposed to be easy, right? This was supposed to be like taking candy from a baby, and come to find out, it wasn't no baby. You know what I mean? It's like what was that one? Damn, can't remember the name of it, but the movie with Marlon Wayans, and he was a midget, and he wasn't really a baby. That's kind of like that. You found out this he's a grown man, and he's a formidable foe. All right, he's giving you the business, man. He not it wasn't an easy task as you thought it was gonna be. Yeah. So this is Isaiah chapter 19 verse 14 says Yahweh, right? All caps meaning the Most High, right? Which is Yahweh. He is the existing one. Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham meaning in the name, and it says Yahweh Shai meaning the Son, right? He is salvation, or he saves, right? Which is Yahweh Shai. Have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt, which is another spiritual a name or spiritual representation of America, right? Because America's spiritually known as Babylon, but it's also spiritually known as Egypt, right? Being through the different worships and system beliefs that they have here in Babylon, the different gods that they actually worship, and then portray them off as Christian values, right? So that's why there's these references when you understand the scriptures, and it to error in every work. And if you see what everything Trump is doing, no matter what he do, it's failing. It's not working. No matter what he does, it's failing. Now you could say we're breaking it down wrong, but show us when we're wrong. When every work that he does, it fails. Egypt err in every work thereof as a drunken man, and really that's what Trump is. Like a drunk man. Staggering in his own vomit, right? Because you're a mess. To continue to fight, to keep pushing when you're losing, and then even when your own people bored to fight, right? Because they don't want to fight for some other foreign entity that's really against the principles of America. That doesn't make sense, even though it's Bible prophecy that this place will be destroyed, but this is it's what it is. And you're like a drunk man, what I mean? You still think you could function, but your equilibrium is all messed up. You got vomit all over you. You look disgusted, but in your mind, you think you still think you're clean. You think you still look good. You still, what I mean? And you're an embarrassment. That's why even the scripture says that even your mother shall be sore against you. She's going to be embarrassed. So you're embarrassing your mother. You're embarrassing everybody, including yourself, right? It says neither shall there be any work, right? Which because of this, it's making no work here, right? It's making a energy crisis as far as oil, gold, everything, just work in general, right? Because people won't be able to travel to work because of the oil. They're talking about a grid crisis right now, talking about the power, because you're trying to put in your data centers, Salakia, data centers, I believe one article I read said they're gonna have data centers as big as cities. So a data center as big as a city is going to pull a lot of energy, which is on making the average person have to pay more for electricity, which already there's no jobs. So that's going to put a strain on everything, right? Yeah. So neither shall there be any work in Egypt, right? And that's America. People are already losing jobs. Hey, matter of fact, they said it just the other day. Trump was firing a lot of people from his cabinet. He's just firing people. which had the head, which had the head, which the head's like a, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Right? So whether you're the top, whether you're the bottom, whether you're middle class, wherever you at, everybody's feeling the crunch. All the people, everybody's feeling this this economic shift, right? Because of the Strait of Hormuz, it's all gridlocked, so to speak, and not to mention they didn't put what's it called, bouncing betties and stuff inside the water. You know, they got their military out there. You're talking about putting boots on the ground, but then they're afraid. They don't want to go over there and fight. You know what I'm saying? They're like women. It says, in that day, Egypt shall be like unto a woman. See, they're afraid, man. This is not going the way that you would like to have it, but it's going according to the Most High. So call Elohim Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and it shall be afraid, right? See, they're afraid and shall be afraid and fear and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh. See, this is really, that's what I'm saying. This is really Yahweh's doing. And it's a way the Lord is actually shaking his hand at you, but you're still like oblivious to, damn, this is judgment. You know what I'm saying? Shouldn't you, since you're such a great nation of this Bible believing nation, which proved that even Bibi, who's really over you, who actually tells you what to do, he comes out and say that, oh, no one can tell Trump what to do. Yeah, you do. You tell him what to do, right? You do tell him what to do. The elite tells him what to do. The elite tells you what to do, right? But and instead of telling your Bible believing country to everybody, let's go on a nationwide fast and let's repent, you're gonna do that. You're not thinking. You're not thinking like that. You're thinking, well, you're just a heathen, bro. At the end of the day, you know, you're phony. You know, you don't believe in God. And I just showed you here this beat son that they want to bring in the Messiah, but he don't believe. He believe in Genghis Khan over believing in the Messiah. So this is the guy that you're supposed to go fight for to bring in the coming of who you call JC, which really his real name is Yahweh Shai, and he's a so-called black man. When he comes back, hey, he's coming after you Edomites, man. After the wickedness you have done in this world, you know, your Epstein Islands, your Epstein files, and all the other wicked things you've done to Jake. You know, even these data centers that what's his name, Zuckerberg and all these other people are putting together. The Lord cares about the trees. They said they cut out so many freaking trees to put up these data centers, man. You think the Lord is pleased with that, man? No, it's a shaking of the hand. It says of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai of hosts, which have shaken, which he shaketh over it, right? Over Babylon. This you could sense and feel a shift here. Things is not going well, right? At all. And you have, like the scripture saying, Obadiah, that you have no understanding in you, right? You don't have no understanding in you that what the Lord set this up for you to be at this moment and this time, right? You know, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? He gave it to you, right? Which is Job 9:24, right? The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? And it says Revelation chapter 20 verse 7, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan, which you're the adversary of the Most High Yahweh, but also his people, right, shall be loosed out of his prison, out of the Caucasus Mountains, out of the stupor, out of the Bahrain as a donkey, right? You're gonna be able to speak again, and then you're gonna have this form of intelligence, but you're still the basis of men, right? So that's one thing you can't escape, that you're the basis of men, and you know, you do a bunch of things, and you just fail at it, bro. You don't have the right counsel, right? You didn't count the cost. You just went into war, not counting the cost. It says, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth. So you see, and the Lord led you to be able to come out of the Caucasus Mountain, rule, do all these different things, just to come at this very moment in time, right? Where Gog, which should be say of Magog, right? Which is Russia. You know what I mean? Right? Russia, Rosh, Shar, Shar meaning prince, Rosh Shar, right? Which is Russia, Roshar, which is Russia, which is the chief prince, which is Gog of Magog, to gather to them together, right? So this you're all, and that's why there's no understanding in you that you are led to the valley of Yehoshaphat to come against Persia just for this very moment. This is where the Lord led you to. You're exactly where you're supposed to be according to Bible prophecy. Right where you're about to get ready to fight Gog of Magog, to gather together them together. To gather them together, Salakia, to the battle, right? And what battle was that? War, tree. The third woe, right? Which tells you that in the scriptures. The first woe and the second woe and the third woe comes quickly. And so we're here. We're at the time of the third woe, right? There's no mistaking. You kept trying to say, oh, there's not going to be a World War III. There's not going to be a World War III. Oh, you don't want to do that because that's going to start World War III. Well, guess what? You're there. You started World War III. It wasn't Biden. Biden didn't start World War III. You started World War III, right? And you're right here in the particular time, place where the Lord needs you to be right here. This is Revelation. This is the end of the book, bro. Right? I think it was only one more or two more chapters. You got Revelation 21, and I believe Revelation 22. And this is the end of the book, bro. So you're at the end, whether you understand it or not. You're at your end. You're at the end of Esau's reign, in which even the elite, they don't understand it. They understand some Bible prophecy. They have their thing, but what they don't understand is they are going to lose, which I think they know. That's why they have the bunkers, which that's still Bible prophecy. When you go to Amos 9, the Lord already know you were going to get into these bunkers. But let me continue on, and it says to gather them together to battle, World War III, the number of whom is as the sands of the sea, right? Because the bricks is having a very innumerable multitude to come against Babylon, right? Come to find out, even your mother's going to come against you. Your allies are going to come against you. You're going to be all alone. You and Bibi, all alone. Because you see that now. You're asking for your allies to come and help. Not one ally came and helped you. Right? So it's a lot of nations coming against you. Right? And it says, and they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city, right, which is talking about actual the land, right? They're gonna come against the, where Bibi is at, right? Because he's there in Jerusalem. That's the beloved land, and it's gonna get destroyed. So America and the land of Israel is gonna be destroyed, right? And fire came down from the power out of heavens and devoured them, right? And that's the Lord bringing that allowing destruction to come to that land, right? Allowing destruction to come to the land, but he also going to destroy your militaries, right? But America and Israel, hey, all these nations are going to come against you, right? It says, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire, right? Which that's going to be America, right? Because the Lord's going to allow the ICBM missiles to be shot from the ends of the world unto America, and America's going to become the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet shall be tormented, right? So you got places in Rome and England and all these other places. They may get they most likely they're going to get hit with some type of missiles and things like that, but they're not going to be destroyed in the way that America and Israel's going to get hit, right? They're going to bombard your what's it called, the Iron Dome? Yeah, the Iron Dome is going to be no more, right? because they already know how to fight against it. You just shoot you shoot consistent amounts of missiles, which one of them is going to be a couple of them are going to be nukes, and yeah, it's good. Hey, you know, ain't going to be any more, and it shall be what a fault. Well, it's like, let me get back to it right here. Fire and brimstone were the beast and the false prophet. Yeah, like I said, yeah, England, Europe, basically it's England, London, England, which would be the beast, and then the false prophet would be Vatican, the Rome, right? The Vatican, that's the false prophet, which brings all these different religions, whether Christianity, Jehovah's Witness, and even Islam stems from them, right? So they're the false prophet, or shall be tormented, right, day and night forever, right? So a lot of these places are going to get hit with these missiles, you know what I mean, and it's going to burn for a while. But America is going to be a complete desert, right? You know, so that your militaries are going to be destroyed. Your allies are going to come against you. So this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 35. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, right? Which that's another biblical term for America, Chaldeans, which also goes into what Babylon, because of the witchcraft that you do, your media, your witchcraft, and basically use media to lie, you know, to try to project your ideology, your mind frame. So, you know, because that's a great point of a fight too. The mind, if you can get the mind, you pretty much have the fight won. You know, now you just got to take it down. And a lot of times that's what you do with the people. You put things within their mind. And it says, saith Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Kakadash, upon the habitations of Babylon, which is America, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. See, and your council, like I said, you didn't count the cost. You just went into battle with Iran and didn't think that they were going to be able to fight. Which I get it. You were thinking, oh well, they were having this thing where their economy collapsed and the people were fighting against them. That would have been the opportunity to use the people against the government, and then you could come in and fight with the people, but not really for the people, right? Because you don't give a damn about those people. Right? You want to do them like you did Libya, where you could just leave it in rubble and heap, and then nothing's functioning coming out of that. But these are ancient people, and not to mention it's biblical prophecy that you are going to come against Persia, which that's the modern day Iran is Persia, right? And that's within the scriptures. So you're going to come against Persia, which is going to allow Gog of Magog, which is Rasha, to defend it, as the scriptures say, for it to be a guard unto it, saying you're gonna meet that end, which Revelations 20 tells you. That's this whole reason why you were able to rule this long and have this great so-called America, just so you could rule the fourth part of the earth. So all four parts of the earth could be taken over by you devils, and you can't say you didn't have the fatness of the earth. You cannot say that the Lord didn't give what He promised you that you would have. You wanted a blessing also, Father, give me a blessing also, because you wept. Well, you got it. Now it's time for your destruction. Now it's time for your judgment, right? And it says, and saith Yahweh upon the habitations of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men, right? Which, hey, there's wisdom. There's no more wisdom in Mightymen, obviously, because hey, your counsel is it ain't there. It's you know what I mean, there is no wisdom. It says a sword is upon the liars, right? They say they keep catching Trump in a lie every time this dude say something. So what the sword is upon the liars, they shall don't. They say a sword is upon her mighty men, right? Your warriors, right? Your military. And they shall be dismayed. Hey, that's what's happening to you right now. You're being dismayed. You go over there and it's like when you see a big guy fight a little dude, and he thinking, I'll go over here and mess this. What's up, little man? I'm gonna beat your you keep on doing. And then the little guy gets up. Hey, bro, I don't think you know who you're dealing with. I don't care. Oh, bust your little, and then it's bat, bat, bat. And now he's on the ground in his own blood and his own vomit. That's you. You know, beat up by a little guy. And now the whole world sees it. You're dismayed in front of the whole world. It says a sword is upon their horses, right? Hey, your military power, was it the jets? They keep getting shot down because horse represents power. Those jets have a lot of power, and they're getting cut down by. You're talking about tech. It's not even technology that Iran has. Not even real technology. You're talking about some old school guns and old school drones and some old stuff, and they're knocking down your $47 billion jets. You know what I mean? It's crazy, right? You're being dismayed, right? As the scriptures say, upon her chariots, right? Different vessels, right? Because technically, those vessels that they're knocking down, those are chariots. Those are chariots. Just mean a vehicle, right? A big ass carrier is a vehicle on the water, tearing down your vehicles that's in the sea, right? A jet's just a vehicle in the air. You know, if they had tanks or whatever, trucks and Humvees or whatever they have out there, they're going to be dismaying them too, right? They're your chariot, your vehicles. And upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, right? Because America was known as the melting pot, and ultimately America is going to be destroyed. The Lord's going to send them ICBM missiles here to America. It's gonna melt the mingled people while they stand upon their feet, right? The eyes, the tongue, you know, everything while they stand upon their feet, showing a great heat, right? A consumption. Boom! You're just gonna melt, right? The Lord said Peter said the element shall melt with fervent heat. Something that's gonna melt every element, right? Turn it back to its original state, because especially since this place haven't had any land Sabbaths, it's going to be the greatest land Sabbath ever that's coming to this place, right? And they shall become as women. See, the whole point is, hey, you're becoming as women, man. You're afraid, and you're being decimated on every turn that and your counsel, everything you do is just failing. You try to do this, oh, it fails. You go, oh, wait, let's do it this way. Oh, remember when we fought back in whatever, we did this military action and this helped. Oh, no, that failed. Everything you do, whatever, well, you know, there's what other military action can we take? Every military thing that you take, it's going to fail. Even if you take the peaceful route and say, you know, we want peace. They don't want peace, right? They don't want your gold or your silver. They don't want anything from you. They want you out of the earth. That's what the scripture says. You should be chased out of the earth, chased out of the world, and that's what's ultimately happening. You're being chased out of the world as we speak. You know, little by little, you're being chased out of the world. It shall be as women, a sword is upon her treasures, right? See all your money, right? The what's it called? The U.S. has the world reserve currency, and that's being cut out. A sword's coming out, it's getting chopped down, right? Now you're about to go through hyperinflation, all sorts of things here, and they shall be robbed, right? So now, if hey, we need some oil. All right, well, you want to pay? Well, you got to pay it in the Chinese yuan or whatever it's called. Yeah, you want to buy some, and you need boatload of American dollars to change it into the Chinese yuan or whatever in order to buy oil. You know what I mean? It's going to be it's crazy. And technically, guess what you're doing? You're being robbed, right? It says a drought, right? Yeah. See? And then they're attacking the infrastructure, right? They're talking about attacking the grid, and most of the grid water runs through the grid for the power. So then there ain't going to be any water. A drought is upon her waters, right? So there's going to be no electricity, no water here in America. And then, hey, you want some water? You want something? Take a boatload of that U.S. money and try to buy something, and it's going to buy you little to nothing. You're going to be robbed, right? It says, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, right? And that's what I was talking about. I was just saying that because this thing goes back to all these different other gods, you know, the Queen of Heaven, and Ashtar, which basically is almost pretty much the same thing as the Queen of Heaven. You got what's the name? Baal. You got what's the thing for the children? Yeah, Baal it's one of them because it's basically the same thing. That's why they do the whole thing with Epstein. They're worshiping Baal, giving sacrifice to the children. Molech, the owl, right? So Baal and Molech is pretty much kind of similar, but these go back to other heathen nations, and that all is representation of here in America. All these different idols that's here in America. Especially when you deal with the Catholic Church, you go to Catholic Church, there's all sorts of stones and idols, and then they don't even depict the people the right way on top of it. You know what I mean? But even if they did, those are still idols. The Lord don't deal with idols, graven images and things for you to worship. The Lord said, do not make any graven image of anything in the heaven, on the earth, or even beneath the earth, right? Which that's what they do, that fish, Dagon, right? They worship, well, you see these Christians with the little fish sign. Well, that goes back to Dagon, which is a Hamitic god. And I believe even Moab used to worship that too. I believe Ham and Moab worship Dagon. You know, those are different gods. Those are different idols, right? Graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. And see, yeah, you're mad, and you don't know that this is ultimately, well, not all of it, but it's a big part of why you have to be destroyed, right? Because of the idols. And the Lord, he's a jealous power. He can have no other God before. He hates that. Absolutely. Right? So yeah, you'll be destroyed. And with all that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect. The elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to your sisters, your achwatim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. And the Baba Ball, Kwam Yasharallah.